Thanks for joining us on the CBN News Channel. I'm Charlene Israel.
And I'm Ephraim Graham. The United Nations General Assembly has overwhelmingly approved an arms trade treaty. It's a move that sets the stage for a showdown between the National Rifle Association and President Obama, as the administration prepares to sign that treaty within the next few months. Gun rights advocates in the U.S. are preparing for a new battle with the White House. The Obama administration voted in support Tuesday of a UN treaty to regulate the international arms trade.
The result of the vote is as follows. In favor, 154. Against, 3. Abstain, 23. Draft Resolution A/67/L58 is adopted.
A pact critics say could lead to a national firearms registry and disrupt the American gun market. The treaty requires countries to take actions to ensure their arms exports won't be used to harm civilians or violate human rights laws.
The treaty we have agreed will make trade in conventional arms more responsible and transparent, reduce human suffering, and tangibly contribute to international peace, security, and stability.
The Obama administration says the treaty applies only to international trade, claiming it will not infringe on the Second Amendment rights of Americans. But the National Rifle Association disagrees. The powerful gun lobby argues the treaty violates the Second Amendment, pointing out among the list of regulated weapons are small arms, which includes rifles and handguns. Many in the U.S. Senate also oppose the treaty, including 8 Democrats. They vowed to block ratification. A 2/3 majority is required to make the treaty legally binding in the U.S. Senator James Inhofe said, quote, "Americans will not stand for internationalists limiting and infringing upon their constitutional rights." And Senator Thad Cochran is also opposing the treaty, saying the Senate has already gone on record in stating that an arms trade treaty has no hope, especially if it does not specifically protect the individual right to bear arms and American sovereignty. Several U.S. agencies will review the treaty before it is presented to the president for his signature.
A new sign of trouble brewing on the Korean peninsula today. North Korea is blocking South Korean workers from accessing their jobs in a jointly run factory park in the north. Some 860 South Koreans work in the Kaesong Industrial Complex. The factory started producing goods back in 2004 and has been a point of cooperation between the North and the South. Pyongyang's decision to refuse the workers follows its repeated threats to stage nuclear and missile strikes on Seoul and the U.S. North Korea is threatening to shut the factory down, which produced some $470 million worth of goods last year.
President Obama is in Colorado today pushing new gun control measures. He's calling for universal background checks. He also wants Congress to at least vote on an assault weapons ban and limits on high-capacity magazines. The trip comes a day after the National Rifle Association released a study that says at least one adult in every school should be armed with a gun and know how to use it.
What's the government up to? That's what some are asking after hearing that the government is buying huge amounts of ammunition and military equipment. Those moves come as people are also asking about how drones might be used in the skies above America. Jennifer Wishon has the story from Washington.
As private gun and ammunition sales skyrocket, Uncle Sam is buying too, in bulk. The Department of Homeland Security is purchasing 1.6 billion rounds of ammunition, enough ammo for 24 years of the Iraq War. The department says it will be used for training and arming Border Patrol and other law enforcement agents. But the agency's buying spree is fueling sinister theories that have gone viral. Some predict a government arms race against Americans. In a letter, California Republican Congressman Doug LaMalfa and 13 of his colleagues asked Secretary Janet Napolitano why ammunitions purchases on such an astonishing scale are taking place. And as the Obama administration works to ban so-called assault rifles and high-capacity magazines, LaMalfa questions the agency's timing. The extraordinary level of ammunition purchases made by Homeland Security, he writes, seems to have created an extreme shortage of ammunition to the point where many gun owners are unable to purchase any. At least one federal official says buying in bulk makes sense, because it's cheaper. And some Homeland Security training centers go through 15 million rounds a year. The National Rifle Association addressed the rumors and concerns and concluded there isn't any reason for worry. There are more than enough threats to the Second Amendment to keep gun owners busy. There's no need to invent additional threats to our rights. But it is easy for many people to question the government. According to a recent poll from Pew Research, 73% have little confidence in the government, and more than half of Americans say the government is a threat to their rights. Adding to the mistrust of some Americans is the increasing expectation that drones will soon pepper American airspace over homes and businesses. Drone technology becomes more stealth every day as state governments and Congress scramble to find ways to protect privacy and ensure Americans they won't become targets of armed drones on American soil.
The president says, "I haven't killed anyone yet." He goes on to say, "And I have no intention of killing Americans, but I might."
Senator Rand Paul became a hero of sorts to many when he drew attention to the president's policy of using drones with his famous filibuster of the confirmation of now CIA Director John Brennan. Paul wanted assurances that the federal government wouldn't use them to fire upon Americans on American soil.
Are we so complacent with our rights that we would allow a president to say he might kill Americans?
Now lawmakers from both parties are debating how to use drones. They're trying to balance the benefits, like finding missing persons, against potential costs, like the government watching you without you ever knowing it.
There really is a subjective element of harm to living in a society where you feel like you're under surveillance.
So presumably at some point you could have one the size of a mosquito that has a battery that operates for weeks, and you could have a mosquito following you around and not be aware of it.
There are already images online of a mosquito drone being developed by the National Security Agency and them trying to figure out what technology they can put on it to make small enough to put on it.
It's uncharted territory that has many Americans on edge and suspicious about their government's motives. Jennifer Wishon, CBN News.
Another Republican senator has come out in support of homosexual marriage. Senator Mark Kirk of Illinois is now the second sitting Republican senator to make such an announcement in recent weeks. Kirk suffered a stroke last year. He says that experience made him realize that people should be able to love whoever they want without the government getting in the middle. Many young Christians are facing hostility and alienation from their peers after last week's national focus on gay marriage. Young evangelicals from several conservative groups voiced their concerns at a panel discussion in Washington. The Heritage Foundation's Andrew Walker said he and other young evangelicals are becoming, quote, the moral minority in an increasingly hostile culture. But he still encouraged the church to reclaim its moral authority and tell young believers not to hide or to conform.
Walmart is offering a new discount to its customers, and it's helping take away some pain at the pump. It's part of a push to increase lagging sales, but whatever the reason, it's good news for consumers. A company known for rolling back prices in its stores is now rolling back prices at the pump. Commuters in 21 states can save as much as 15 cents a gallon until July 7th.
Who doesn't want cheap gas?
The only stipulations, consumers must purchase the gas using a Walmart credit card or money card. Experts say the new program is a result of low sales.
Walmart sales have been flat for nearly 3 years, and Consumer Reports rated Walmart as one of the worst rated retailers in the U.S. So Walmart with lower prices is trying to get shoppers back.
Walmart has blamed January's tax increases for a tough start to this year, but competitors like Costco aren't helping sales either.
Walmart views Costco as Walmart's worst nightmare, whether it's in North America or any other area of the world where the two go head-to-head.
Nevertheless, gasoline prices account for roughly 4% of the average American's budget, and 10 to 15 cents off a gallon won't go unnoticed.
Hopefully it's good quality gas. Walmart's known to be affordable, mainstream, but then again, it's kind of cheap.
Meanwhile, a little relief at the pump in recent weeks. Gas prices dropped to about $3.65 a gallon last month, but some analysts say it's not going to last. Prices up to $4 $4 a gallon have been predicted. It is fairly typical for gas prices to rise this time of year ahead of the summer driving season.
Israel has started making its first natural gas deliveries from an offshore drill. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says it marked what he called an important day for Israel's economy. It should provide the country with a reliable energy source. Israel uses natural gas to generate about 40% of its electricity.
Palestinians call it the West Bank, but the Jews say it's their biblical homeland.
Much of the world wants Israel to stop building in the biblical heart of Israel known as Judea and Samaria. Instead, Jewish settlers are putting down roots for generations to come. Chris Mitchell has the story.
This is Givat Asaf. We're at a playground that my organization, the Shiloh Israel Children's Fund, has set up for the children here. This is a community that was established several years ago.
But in 2001, it was a murder scene after 30-year-old Ashef Hershkowitz died in a terror attack. Terrorists killed and wounded many Israelis along this highway, where biblical patriarchs Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob once traveled. David Rubin and his son survived one such attack about 10 years ago.
One way we Israelis here in Samaria respond to terrorism is by establishing new communities.
Givat Asaf is in the disputed West Bank, an area much of the world considers occupied. The Bible calls it Judea and Samaria, an inheritance promised to the Jewish people, but Palestinians want it for a future state.
My position, United Nations position on settlement is clear. It does not help the ongoing peace process.
They really think that the land of Israel belongs to the Arabs, not to the Jews. So they look at everything we do here as illegal.
But even the League of Nations, precursor to the UN, actually encouraged Jewish settlement. Article 6 of the British mandate reads, "The administration of Palestine, while ensuring that the rights and position of other sections of the population are not prejudiced, shall facilitate Jewish immigration and shall encourage close settlement by Jews on the land."
Our message is we will not surrender to terrorism. We will do the opposite of what the terrorists want us to do, which is to build for the future through next generations. And that's what this playground here is all about.
Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Givat Asaf, Samaria.
Coming up, a sign of hope from the rubble of 9/11, where the 9/11 cross is heading despite atheist objections.
Today we're on a field trip to discover what inflation is doing to our paper money. In this hand is a $20 bill, and in this hand is a $20 US gold coin. They used to have the same buying power, but how much can they buy today? In this first basket is what my $20 bill buys: milk, bread, peanut butter, and jelly. And here's what one $20 gold coin will buy: 6 baskets full, worth nearly $2,000, almost 100 times more food, simply by owning gold dollars instead of paper dollars. History shows that the gold coins have been the best way to beat the rising cost of living. So class, the moral is that unless you want to live on peanut butter and jelly sandwiches in the future, you should turn some paper dollars into gold coins now. How and why is explained in a new book, The Great Debasement. Call the number below for a totally free copy. And that's the simple truth.
Help! If an emergency happened right now, you can have help at the push of a button with Medical Alert.
Remember when I took that fall, Mary?
Oh, yes, that was terrible.
Yes, it was.
Help!
And I thought, what if you hadn't been there? I ordered my Medical Alert the next day.
I can't describe how safe I feel now with my Medical Alert. You didn't know I was wearing it, did you?
Medical Alert is easy to install, waterproof, and covers you inside your home and out.
It helps me feel safe from fires, break-ins.
And of course, a Medical Alert. And if you don't have a home phone, don't worry. They have that covered.
There's always help at the push of a button. Don't wait till you need it.
Get Medical Alert for less than $1 a day. There are no long-term contracts. Order now and get your second button free. Call for your free brochure.
For your free Medical Alert system with second button free, call 800-575-8507.
from CBN.
Broken Eardrum is playing at the Civic tonight.
And you'll just have to miss it.
This is so incredibly unfair.
A special story of love and sacrifice.
Joy, Mom comes up with something.
Christopher Quantum, you and I are going to discuss your attitude right this minute. Superbook.
No.
Join the Superbook DVD Club and get Superbook's newest episode, He is Risen. Plus 2 copies to share with others, all for your gift of $25.
They have arrested Jesus, the Messiah. Do you not know that I have the power to crucify you?
No! Please! You can't! They've taken him to Golgotha. We must hurry. Mary is about to lose her son. The worst thing any mother could face. I am not leaving her.
Superbook. It's an amazing way to build a strong spiritual foundation in the children you love.
Mary. Who are you looking for?
I've seen him! He is alive!
Superbook. He is Risen. Available now.
The fight over a portrait of Jesus has graduated from a middle school to a high school in Ohio. The picture had been hanging in a Jackson City middle school, but it was moved after complaints from the American Civil Liberties Union and the Freedom from Religion Foundation. The portrait was moved to a wall in the city high school. Now the two groups are complaining again. They say the picture unconstitutionally promotes religion and are asking a court to prohibit its display. The school district is not backing down. It says removing the portrait would violate students' free speech rights.
A Catholic university vows to continue its fight against Obamacare's birth control mandate. A federal court has dismissed Ave Maria University's lawsuit against the mandate, which requires it to pay for employees' birth control. Now, the president of the Florida school says the institution will appeal. The university also released a statement saying it hopes, quote, the Obama administration will soon get rid of its rotten regulations and respect our right of conscience and religious identity.
One thing's clear, Ave Maria University is not going to comply with the federal contraception mandate, and we're going to be back in court if they don't fix the regulations.
For now, the Obama administration will not bring any enforcement penalties against the school, at least not until January 2014.
The Student Government Association at Johns Hopkins University refuses to recognize a pro-life group as an official club on campus. SGA members denied Voice for Life official status because they believe being pro-life is a violation of the school's harassment policy. Some of those members even compared pro-life students to white supremacists, according to Fox News. One said she felt violated and targeted by pro-life displays at the university. Another said, quote, we have a right to protect our students from things that are uncomfortable. Voice for Life representatives say the group is exercising its rights to free speech. The group has hired an attorney to fight the ban.
A federal judge has ruled that the World Trade Center cross can be included in the 9/11 Memorial and Museum Park. Many New Yorkers consider the cross a beacon of hope that came out of the tragedy. Its intersecting steel beams survived the World Trade Center collapse in the form of a cross. In July, the group American Atheists sued to have the symbol removed from the site. According to CNN, Judge Deborah Batts ruled that the display of the beams is permissible because they bear historical importance.
Up next, a different kind of land battle here in the U.S. Why one family decided to fight back against what they call the tricks of the Auburn Society.
Attention sleep apnea patients. Are you tired of the expense and hassle of getting your CPAP and BiPAP supplies? Are you fed up with dealing with ill-fitting, leaking, or worn-out masks and straps? Are you worried about the effects that unsanitary tubes, cushions, and filters have on your health? If you said yes to any of these questions, Allied Medical Supply Network has the solution to your problems. You could qualify to have your supplies regularly delivered right to your door at little or no cost to you. That's right, no more inconvenience, no worn-out masks and straps, no more unsanitary equipment, just restful sleep. Call Allied Medical Supply Network today to determine if you may qualify to receive your fresh, brand-name supplies at little or no cost. Don't delay. Call us now to see if you are eligible to save money on regular delivery of your CPAP and BiPAP supplies. Call 1-800-815-9947. That's 1-800-815-9947. Or go to cpapsupplyhelpline.com.
announcing an important breakthrough in healthcare that can benefit everyone. If you or anyone you love needs affordable health insurance, regardless of a pre-existing medical condition, call Quick Insurance 123 today and get the immediate relief you deserve. Quick Insurance 123 was created to provide affordable health insurance to all uninsured Americans, with or without pre-existing conditions. This is not a discount card. This is a real insurance program that lets you choose from many affordable health plans, with access to doctors, hospitals, emergency services, and more. So call the number on your screen now and get the health coverage you need, just for calling. As a special bonus, we'll send you a free prescription savings card that could save you up to 85% on your prescriptions. That's right, you could save up to 85% on your prescriptions just for calling. Call Quick Insurance 123 to find out how you can get affordable health insurance and receive your free prescription savings card just for calling. Don't wait. Getting a free quote is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Call today.
The Audubon Society enjoys a reputation as wholesome as the Girl Scouts for saving birds and conserving the wilderness.
That's right, but one family in California accuses Audubon of lying and using dirty tricks so it could take their land. Paul Strand has the story from the Golden State.
The French brothers Sever wanted a family retreat and began buying land high up in the Mayacamas Mountains in 1924. Their descendants grew into 5 families who enjoyed most summers, holidays, and major events all together in this mountain paradise called the ranch.
The ranch was the lifeblood, the glue that held the family together.
But a fire in 2004 burned down 3 of their houses.
Torched this whole thing. Well, we lost everything.
Leah's son Mike says they wanted to rebuild, but they ran into a roadblock from a surprising source. It was their next-door neighbor, the National Audubon Society, known for bird watching and conservation. Well, it said no to the families upgrading roads that crossed its land so they could get construction crews to their ranch. Then Audubon hit them with the bombshell that it owned some of their very best acres.
It was like being hit in the stomach. The wind knocked out of you.
Audubon brought out survey maps to bolster their claim. Mike's brother Phil said that boundary would push their new houses.
Approximately 300 yards up the hill, way up in that upper meadow up there.
So you would have to build your houses up on top of that.
Virtually impossible. This is the only flat area.
Then the family's lawyer says Audubon gave them all an ultimatum.
If you don't agree, we're going to go out and build a fence on that line, and if you try to interfere, we're going to call the police.
In court documents, Audubon insists it's legally bound to preserve wilderness and couldn't just hand those acres back to the family once it believed it owned them. It also claims it bent over backwards to work out a deal. But Phil heard a much different side from the organization.
This property has never, ever been yours. Get over it.
Phil and his family accuse Audubon of simply coveting their land.
It really bothers me that, they'd come out here and try to take something that's ours.
The families decided to fight. That decision led to a years-long effort to prove the land was theirs. They filled a suitcase with evidence, spent hundreds of thousands of dollars, and sacrificed much more.
Thousands and thousands of countless hours.
Brothers Mike and Phil spent months battling the brush to find original surveyor's marks. They already had full-time jobs. This was like adding a whole new one. And in some cases, this extra burden did more harm than good. And with all this going on, the family still couldn't rebuild, cut off from their piece of paradise and family.
You have family reunions, you're always having holidays, and then it's just an abrupt stop.
And this whole debacle has just torn all of it apart.
One family elder testified he believes it was stress from the legal battle that was the cause, the underlying reason, for the 3 strokes he suffered and survived. Then a stunning surprise. Audubon caved and said it would accept the original property lines.
They completely capitulated.
Why? Maybe Audubon feared this. Last year, a subpoena uncovered Audubon originally held back some of the map surveys and altered the ones presented to prove its claim to the land.
It took whiteout, and we have the emails from Audubon's very top people talking about putting whiteout on the maps.
Oh, we actually call it Whiteout Gate now.
Removing the lines that its surveyor had put on its maps that Audubon didn't like, showing that the boundary really was in the right place all along.
This screamed lies and cover-up to the families.
7 to 8 years of hard work, when they knew from day one that this was never their property. Ever. They knew it. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe anybody would do that. I wouldn't do that to another human being, period.
Now the families are suing for fraud. Audubon admits it didn't give them all the surveyor's maps, but says that's because not all were relevant. And it says it whited out only extraneous lines. So the group calls this lawsuit frivolous, demanding the families pay its legal bills. Family members refuse to give an inch because all these years of legal war have certainly cost them.
It's affected everybody mentally, physically, emotionally.
No matter what happens with this case, one thing that can never be replaced for this family is all those years of going to their mountain paradise together, getting to know one another, learning to love one another. The cost of that, well, that's priceless. Paul Strand, CBN News, reporting from Mountain Country in California.
It definitely is priceless, but to use whiteout to white out the lines, that is insane.
My heart aches for the family.
Yes.
It's really, really devastating.
Can't get that back. My goodness.
Stay with us. We're coming right back.
When you're driving along and your cell phone rings, do your eyes instantly go off the road? Then you need to get a grip. Hi, David Jones here with the new GripGo, the most versatile hands-free mount that will instantly grip any phone for safe driving. Just attach the suction cup to your windshield or dash, and GripGo grabs your phone ultra fast. Then it peels right off. And don't worry, there's no sticky residue left behind. The 360-degree pivoting mount allows you to always get the perfect viewing angle. It's even strong enough to grab and hold this expensive smartphone out the window. Yet it comes right off with ease. That's the advantage of GripGo. You can get the amazing GripGo with dashboard mount for only $14.95. We'll send you a second kit free. Just pay separate processing and handling. Get 2 complete GripGo systems for just $14.95.
To order GripGo for $14.95 plus processing and handling, call 1-800-709-5259 or order online at getgripgo.com.
Jim is 38, mortgage, married, 3 great kids. He wants to protect his family with a $500,000 term life insurance policy. What do you think it'll cost him? $100 a month? 60? 40? Actually, none of the above. Jim can get a $500,000 policy from a highly rated insurer for under $19 a month. His secret? SelectQuote. SelectQuote is impartial. They'll comparison and shop the pick of insurance companies like these to give you a choice of your best prices. SelectQuote has great savings on term life for women, too. Jim's wife, Deidre, can get a $500,000 policy for under $16 a month. SelectQuote has helped make term life insurance affordable for hundreds of thousands of people since 1985. How about you? Just call this number or go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote. We shop, you save.
Finally today, a bit of good health news for you night owls who are trying to be healthy.
I know from personal experience, exercising in the evening will not prevent you from getting a good night's sleep. In the past, experts said to avoid exercising before bedtime because the stimulation could keep you awake. But the 2013 Sleep in America poll finds that people who exercise in the last 4 hours before bedtime report sleeping just as well as those who exercise earlier in the day. In the poll of 1,000 people, only 3% of late-day exercisers said they slept worse.
Okay, we can do this before bedtime.
I exercise
I don't
and
have
go
a problem
right to
with
sleep
it either. I think
without a problem.
100%. 100% agree. Well, that's going to do it for now on the CBN News channel. You can find more of our exclusive coverage of the issues you care most about at cbnnews.com.
And take the time to tell us what you think about the stories you've seen here today. You can do that on Facebook or at CBN News on Twitter. Join us next time.
If you had a choice between going bald and a full head of hair, which would you choose? Advances in medical science have resulted in the world's first and only permanent solution to hair loss.
Yes!
You wash it, you cut it. It's your own real, naturally growing hair. When it comes to hair restoration, no one in the world has more experience than Bosley. The results look completely natural and are affordable on nearly any budget. But the entire process can't be explained in 60 brief seconds. So to find out more about this clinically proven and permanent solution to hair loss, call now to receive your free no-obligation information kit. It'll answer all of your questions about hair loss and hair restoration. Plus, we'll also send you this $250 gift certificate just for calling. Every day you wait, you're losing more hair. So don't put it off any longer. You owe it to yourself to find out the facts. Choose hair. Choose Bosley.
Call 800-868-9957. That's 800-868-9957. Introducing the CBN Bible from CBN.com. Now, an easier way to study the Bible and grow in your faith. Highlight your favorite verse. Read separate versions at a glance. Click and read a commentary. Or cross-reference your favorite verse using the Strong's Concordance. all the right tools to study the Bible, all in one place. The CBN Bible, available at cbn.com/Bible or the iTunes App Store.